Hey guys, join your scary queens,
Chelsea,
Christian, Harry,
and Sabrina for the Witching Hour.
we will review horror,
get into some mysterious stories,
and to be honest, probably share our opinions on just about anything.
Don't be afraid to stick around.
Okay.
Was she Afro-Riqueña?
Yes.
Oh.
That is the
Look in the mic.
perfect way to start the talk.
And we're talking about God's Friday the 13th. Welcome to October.
Welcome to
This
the
is our
second
second try.
installment of our October special. What, what? Today we are reviewing, as Christian just screamed, Friday the 13th, infamous Friday the 13th, known from...
this week is Friday the 13th, y'all, in October.
It is, that's right. That's why we did this whole thing.
That's kind of the whole reason we did this.
Yep.
Guess what else it is?
Chelsea's birthday.
Nope.
My old wedding anniversary.
Hey, So, anyway.
I got it, don't worry.
Wow, this is a mess.
Guys, let's be, if we can be open about this is the second time we're starting this podcast because we just can't get it together. But we're gonna keep going. Okay, I was looking up when we stopped. Who
The director is something Cunningham. I don't
Wow.
remember his first name.
Richard.
Sure.
Did you just make that?
So we're watching sorry, y'all. For clarification, we're watching the first one from 1980.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, she's a doozy.
Or we already did watch, and we will be discussing. And she's a doozy.
It was a doozy.
Initial summary thoughts. I thought it ate. I liked it a lot.
So
I liked it.
I didn't think it ate, just because all of the action happened in the last like 10 minutes of the movie.
Mhm.
And like, you know, we've been busy girls, so watching the entirety of both the movies that we've watched so far has been an issue because, you know, we also got lives to live. But so like at some point I was like, well, I guess not gonna finish it. Like I'll leave the last 30 minutes, whatever, we'll just record. But bitch, all of the action happens in the last 10 minutes. I feel like there should be like a steady, people were killed throughout the whole movie, but there should be like a steady
It's
build.
just that the deaths were very like soft and sneaky. Like
To be fair though, this is one of the movies that like, you know, wrote
Set the standard. Yeah, set the standard of horror.
At the time, girl, if you did a Hereditary at that time, people would shit themselves.
Right. So they were just figuring it out. So I don't think it ate, but I think I can see why people like it a lot. Like I can see why it's considered a cult classic. Not necessarily my taste. I love the Conjuring style more, but I get it. You know, I get it.
You know what? That's wonderful because I also am a more Conjuring style. I do not like slasher movies. I really liked this one. We can get into it as we break it down.
Yeah.
Letty.
Well,
anyway,
I didn't like it.
Yeah,
and she's breaking her silence.
Her phone.
Yeah, wait, Chelsea.
But yeah, because
why.
I didn't like it.
Yeah, explain why you didn't like it though.
I just don't like this. And y'all can come for me. I literally. Do you think I give a shit? I'm crazy.
Okay. No, I'm crazier than you.
I might have to edit this one. I don't like this era of horror movies. I like super old stuff like Frankenstein and Dracula. And I like 90s horror movies. I don't like 70s and 80s horror movies.
You don't like the middle transition.
You don't like Children of the Corn or anything?
Not movies that I reach for. Like I get it.
Can I tell you?
So like it, I don't. I'm not like and you're wrong. It's just like I don't like them.
It's not your taste.
So funny.
Which is valid.
What about you, Christian?
But I really like the aesthetic of like 80s horror movies. Just like the vibes are very fun. there
See,
was a
I
lot of
like
slashers, and I like slashers just because, like, I mean, I like Conjuring style movies, like paranormal stuff as well, but it's just different vibes. Like, I also love like a whodunit, a slasher moment,
Mhm.
so I enjoyed it. Um, but I can also see how some people like slashers just aren't their thing.
Yeah.
Like some
See, I
people
don't
just
think
are really
slashers
into
are my
other types of
thing,
movies.
but I liked Halloween. So like I think this is the middle ground of like, or like
Slasher.
the for the left end of my like horror movie spectrum. I don't like this one as much. Then I like Halloween slasher, and then I go into like a different field of what I actually really like in horror. But yeah, I can see still I
Yeah,
can
and
definitely.
that's fine. But yeah, as standalone movie though, I mean, I enjoyed it. So like, anyway, we will get more into it as we go into the movie. But let's start off with how this movie begins. We start with a POV. We get right into it.
Yeah, POV, you're a pervert.
We are POV. We are POV. You are the killer, or whatever. And so we get to see a bunch of camp counselors, right? And they're all singing Hallelujah. And they're all just rocking out together with the kids, right? The kids were there,
Yeah,
right?
they sing hallelujah and then they go screw.
That was the
Not all
scariest
the
part of
counts.
the
It wasn't
movie.
an orgy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
just two of them, just two of them.
They branch off. They're just doing that teen thing where they have sex in a closet. You know how you do when you're a teen.
But
You
here's
just
the
have
thing.
sex wherever you can.
These people were dying later on, and they completed the mission, you know. These two little camp counselors that the pervert killed, they
Didn't even get
make
to.
it.
they were just kissing.
They didn't even get to
You
rub
know?
on each other.
They didn't-
Like
they didn't
honestly,
even get to second
sad
base.
for them. But in the defense of the killer, it was 1958. So
Yeah.
when we fast forward to later on to what you're talking about, it is the year 1980
Yeah.
or 70 something. I don't know what it's
Yeah.
supposed
And
to
that's
be.
like, yeah, that's
You know what
about
I'm
when sex
thinking?
was invented.
Mhm.
Movie opens. We are just wherever we were last. Two camp counselors. Oh, just bopping and rubbing. Bop it, pull it, suck it. Sorry. Wow.
Sabrina.
But you know what I mean? Like they didn't even really get to do anything crazy, and then they get yoinked by this lurking. No, is that the word I'm
Figure.
looking for? Hulking.
This pervert that
Like,
was
it looks like
watching them for the whole time.
Whoa.
What?
What did
No.
you say?
My internet cut out. But yeah,
All we heard,
Can I tell
I'm
you
gonna tell you, all we
the-
heard was the Spanish word for fuck.
oh,
It wasn't it was bingo, it's dick.
but yeah,
Yeah.
In your country.
they got killed by this pervert that stood there and watched them the whole time and then killed them and then killed the girl, killed the guy immediately, kills the girl
Yeah.
so
Bing,
slowly.
bing.
She's bounced doing this forever.
It's so
Mhm.
funny though. This movie consistently, every person that's trying to run away from the killer isn't really. You know what I mean? Like I think now, Chelsea,
they give up immediately.
Chelsea's choking, if anybody on the audio is wondering.
I'm
She's
so
good,
sorry.
she's good, she's back.
It's sparkling water.
Hey, who cursed us? This episode is crazy.
Continue.
Okay. Hey, we haven't even started.
We will
okay,
never
these two kids
finish.
die. Who gives a shit? They don't actually matter at
We
fucking
can
all.
move so much faster. We don't have to give the details. So
Okay, then cutscene. We're with this hippie. Okay,
yeah,
she
this
has
little lady.
every single
now
thing
in the
she
prison.
owns on her back.
Yes, she
The
does.
thing is actually double her size.
Yes. Stops at a
she-
cafe because she's looking for Camp Crystal Lake because it's gonna work. They're reopening the camp
trying to
now,
hitchhike.
like 20,
Yeah.
30 years later after they killed those two camp counselors. So she goes into this cafe and she's like, "Hey, yo, anybody know how far to camp? What's it called?" And all of the locals look at her like she just farted the loudest fart
she
in
said
their mouth.
Camp Crystal Lake, and they were like Camp Blood.
They turned the
Yeah.
Are you
music
talking
off.
about Camp Blood?
Literally,
Somebody
she
went
turned
and
the
turned the
music
music
down.
off.
Yeah,
And-
so they were like, well, it's basically they were like, it's far as fuck. And then this guy named Enos, a letter away from
Right.
anus,
And penis.
looks like he hasn't showered in days.
Hey,
and,
he's a truck driver. Leave him alone.
well, he's also a pervert because he helped her up into the truck and grabbed her ass cheeks. It was a
I
lot.
did
Pervert.
notice that. When I was
Pervert.
watching it, when I was watching that, I was like,
Also,
"Is he mean?"
also, Annie's hair, amazing. Continue.
Oh yes.
Her hair was so
it
good.
was Farrah Fawcett galore.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
Ooh.
It was like right after the age of this hair becoming a style. So like people were having it down, you know what I mean? Like they knew exactly how to do it.
Yeah.
So this guy Enos takes her, and then this old weird man called what? Frank,
What?
Ralph.
What are you talking
the
about?
creepy man who
He's talking about Ralph.
Ralph is like, you going to Camp Blood? It's
You
cursed, don't go there.
Yeah.
Can I tell you? I totally forgot about Ralph in this scene. I totally forgot about him.
Yeah,
Well,
that's where we meet him.
And he's like, "You're all doomed."
yeah. He's
Yeah.
You're
like,
doomed, don't go there. It's
Anyway,
cursed.
they get on the truck, and they end up driving towards Camp Crystal Lake because he wasn't going to take her all the way there. He just like was dropping her off halfway. So they're going there. And I think, is this when it cuts to the camp, or does it go to her getting dropped off? I don't remember.
I think we should just follow Annie's progression.
Okay,
Let's
so
just
It
follow her through.
basically
Annie gets dropped off, and she has to walk the rest of the way. And then this Jeep.
She's trying to hitchhike the rest of the way.
This Jeep, this like navy blue teal-ish Jeep that's important. That's why I mentioned that. But he's like going down the road, and she's like, give me a ride. He stops. She puts her bag in. She's like, I gotta go to Camp Crystal Lake. So he ends up driving her towards Camp Crystal Lake.
It's so ominous because it's the same camera angle that we had earlier from the two kids boinking upstairs. It's just the camera. We don't say anything. We, the viewer, who's also looking through the eyes of the person, they just shake their head and they just move around, and you see
it's
through their eyes.
noticeable because when Annie was in the truck with Enos, we saw her and the camera would turn to him. But in this Jeep, when Annie would talk to the person driving, it wouldn't turn the camera towards them. So it was ominous. Well, they drive.
Can I tell y'all? No wonder y'all were fucking getting killed in the 80s. Can I tell you? The serial killers were rampant.
I'm actually, you guys should talk to your parents. How did all of you guys survive?
Yeah, but this is the movie basically was like, terrible idea. Don't do it.
Well, because like this was like so normal, you know what I'm saying? 80s, 70s. I'm like, yeah.
She hitchhikes on this Jeep, and they're going towards Camp Crystal Lake, but then they pass the entrance, and she was like, "Ayo, wasn't that the street that goes up to the camp?" And then the driver speeds up. She's like,
"Yeah." They pass a sign that says Camp Crystal Lake, and it forks off, and then they keep driving, and she's like,
should we stop?"
Hey.
And then
I think we missed it.
The driver speeds up, and then she's like, "No, we should stop." And the driver speeds up, and then she jumps out of the fucking car.
Okay, and what are you gonna do? Ride it all the way down the road?
No. But it's the craziest thing. You just jump out of a car.
Yep.
Well, can I tell you? And that was
the alternative.
At
is
least
just willingly.
At least one. Right. At least one
smart
decision that she made.
That's true, but she ended up dying anyway. So she jumps out of the car. She walks into the woods, and then the person keeps following her and ends up slashing her throat. Which, for an '80s movie, that like the blood coming out of the throat was pretty good, and it was by this guy. And we'll reference him later because of something that Sabrina might not know that we ended up googling during the movie. It was a lot, but that was the end of Annie's trajectory.
Bye, Annie. She was supposed to be the cook, so I guess the kids aren't getting here.
Yeah, I also they're not getting much, but anyway, I thought she was gonna be. I thought she was gonna be the final girl, and then they killed her, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I guess not."
Usually we see final girl first. Usually, like I feel like we open.
Yeah,
it's a shot of final girl.
So that we like her, we see her the most.
Yeah, we attach.
Yeah,
no, but
which I thought it was like. I feel like that was. I don't know where this falls in the timeline of like, horror history, but I thought it was like. I don't know if this was like before the final girl thing was really like a thing. So maybe that's just how it was set up. Yeah, like the trope. Or if they were steering away from the trope to like misguide us. And then it's like, ooh, no, you thought she's actually.
I feel like when I think final girl, I think of 90s movies, but can I tell you that might be an unfounded opinion?
Yeah.
I think maybe it's like it was solidified in the 90s because of the 80s type thing once that passed. But I'm not sure if that makes sense, you know?
Do you
I
guys
really don't know.
hear Pumpkin yelling?
Um,
Because he has not
No,
stopped talking this
we
whole time.
can't.
Cool.
I
I'm just
don't.
gonna keep on trucking through the plot, and then if I say something wrong, or if we want to stop and talk, then let's do that.
Yeah. I'm here.
Okay, so then at some point in
We
that,
meet.
cuts back and forth, but we're gonna like just finish Annie and then go into the camp. So we look at the camp counselors, and we see first, I don't remember his name, but the guy whose family owns the camp, has owned the
Oh,
camp.
Steve. Oh, what's his last name?
Steve
It's
is fine.
Steve's. Okay.
Steve Christie.
Steve
Christie. He's
Christie.
the
And can I tell you, everybody on this camp is sexy as shit.
I was saying
yeah.
the same thing the entire time. I was telling them there's something about a man with a mustache and cut off
The mustache. Can we talk about it?
I wrote a note about it.
The fucking mustache and the cut off shorts and the no shirt really got me. Really got me.
I wrote a note about it where I was thinking about one of the many things that I just love about like the 80s aesthetic is they always got the man in some cutoff jorts and a crop top.
Yep.
Oh yeah, his shorts were the side
in a horror movie.
of
80s horror movie man.
Yes.
Dude, it was a sexy look.
And the stash.
Oh, and the porn stash, dude. It's the 70s porn stash.
Yeah. So we see this guy, and he's with the first girl we see. Actually, no, before this happens, what's his name? Kevin Bacon, and then the other guy and the girl are in the
truck. So we get a scene of who are to be our main characters, and it's other sexy teens.
Yes.
Is it weird to say teens?
No, because they were in their 20s when they filmed.
Okay, cool. I don't want any. I'm not a predator.
I made
They're
sure
not teens.
Yeah, when we were watching, I kept saying how sexy Kevin Bacon was when he was younger, and then I was like,
dude, I didn't even know Kevin Bacon was in this. I was like, Kevin, what is Kevin Bacon doing here?
That's what Chelsea and I were like, is that
so
Bacon?
There's this man named Jack who's Kevin Bacon. There's this woman named Marcy. And then there's she's gorgeous. And then there's Brenda and Ned. They're all in this car together.
Well, Brenda wasn't
we'll break down. It wasn't Brenda?
Yes, no, it was just the three of them. No, it was just
it doesn't really matter because we're like 2 seconds into the movie.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, they get a scene there. They come to the camp or whatever. They meet Steve Christie. They meet Steve Christie, and he gives them the lowdown of like, all right, this is the camp. Y'all are the counselors.
Get in.
Bing, bing, bing. I'm gonna grab supplies and stuff. Y'all are gonna do XYZ. There's another girl coming. Her name is Annie. She'll be doing the cooking.
Well,
we're like,
which
and we know that Annie is dripping all over the forest floor right now.
Yep, she is.
And basically, like the group of teens kind of again goes with that trope of like the horny teens who are like sexually frustrated and they're like talking about sex in the car.
We meet what's his face's girlfriend to be presumed. I don't remember what
Alice.
her name is.
Okay, I did a little family tree of the relationships. Okay, so basically you end up meeting everyone. Alice, Brenda, Bill, and Steve are already at camp when Jack, Marcy, and Ned pull up.
Show up. Yeah.
So this is how they all relate to each other. So Steve is the owner. He wants to fuck Alice. Alice was just a worker there. She's like, she looks like his assistant, honestly.
Yeah.
His right-hand man. So Alice is a cutie. She's got a Will Byers haircut. Very cute. I actually like it.
I wrote that exact freaking no. I said Alice got the Will Byers cut.
Because she does.
She makes it look good.
She makes it look so cute, though. I actually really, really like it. So Steve wants to fuck Alice. Alice wants to fuck Steve. Jack and Marcy are dating, so they're fucking. Yes. And then we get to watch it later. Ooh. Then Ned wants to fuck Brenda. Okay. And you find this out because he literally is the most annoying shit
He's so annoying
to her. He does not leave her. So annoying. I can't deal with somebody that's this energetic and like playful. I'm like, ew. And not even in like a grumpy cat or like, oh my God, grumpy cat and sunshine. Like, you're getting me so fucking angry. Get the fuck out of my face. I just don't like that kind of energy.
Well, he was annoying to the point where one of the
So
scenes
annoying.
was like that he wanted, like one of the attention needing scenes of his was that he pretended to drown in the lake.
Oh my God, how endearing.
And all of them get scared and like save him. And then Jack is like, oh my gosh, Brenda, give him mouth to mouth. Because she's like, they're like kind of a thing. And she was the only one who would put her mouth on his. And then she gives him mouth to mouth. And he like
just makes out with her.
Like grabs onto her and like kisses her. So it was all a joke. He's just really annoying. Also,
that's the oldest trick in the book.
Problematic. He does come out in the movie as a Native American, dressed up as a Native American, making.
Oh my God, that was crazy.
That was so unnecessary.
Sometimes the movie, I would just look around and be like, and who was that for?
Yeah.
And why did we do that?
You're like, did we all?
Can I tell you?
See that?
Can I tell you what it? Can I tell you what it didn't do? Can I tell you what it didn't do? Add anything to the plot.
Add to the plot.
Hey, you know what else didn't add anything to the plot, which is what I was referencing earlier. There's a scene where they're all setting up camp. Steve left to get supplies, and there's a snake in the cabin.
Oh, for what? And for I don't know.
Wait. There's a snake in the cabin. They have a whole scene of catching him and killing him, and here's where it gets problematic. That snake was a real snake. They actually killed the snake on set. And the snake had a handler, and the handler didn't know that they were going to kill the snake until he got to set and they were shooting.
And they killed it. And they was like,
and the scene,
and he was like, whoa, hey,
one of the things,
that's my snake.
One of the things that a lot of people say is like, there was so much innovation with all the SFX of the humans being killed, and they couldn't have done something about a fake snake. And they didn't. That was a real snake that they killed for funsies, because again, it added nothing to the plot.
Hey, I'm actually so sad about that. That makes me so sad.
Yeah,
it's really messed up.
I saw how it looked, and I was like, I think they actually like macheted that snake, and I looked it up, and it's an actual consequence.
And can I tell you, it wasn't even a 1-2. He made sushi rolls out of that freaking snake. And I was like,
I wasn't pleased by. I've always lived in like the boonies, so my dad has been killing snakes since I was this big.
It's the fact that it was like a snake actor and they killed it.
That's awful.
Yeah, and it was just a harmless snake.
And it was like
snake doesn't do anything. It's like a garden snake.
It was a bull snake. It was harmless.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna continue with the family tree. So Ned, the worst in the world ever, wants to fuck Brenda. Brenda.
Also, don't like calling it a family tree when they're all fucking each other.
You know what I mean. The relationship tree. Sorry. Brenda maybe possibly interested in Bill because of a scene that we find later, but I don't know.
Which y'all haven't mentioned Bill, but Bill is also there.
Yeah, he's just a worker.
He was there. Can I tell you, smallest role out of all the teens. Sorry, he's like kind of nerdy and like a do-gooder. So he's not like fun to like fuck with in this movie. Bill, possibly Alice, possibly Brenda, because of the scene that we're going to talk about later. But that's how they all are related to each other. So there's just a lot of tension. Everybody's hot and young, and it's one of those kind of movies. And then they all start going down like flies. I loved it. The rain.
It really did. A lot of the
storms
action,
a
lot of the action happened at the end of the movie, but they were not shy about killing people within the first 10, 15
Oh,
minutes.
yeah.
They were like, this is a slash film. We're going to slash.
Yeah. They were slashing throughout the whole entire thing.
And you know why I appreciated it?
You know, the point.
Because I think we can skip all the exposition that doesn't matter. Steve leaves to go get supplies. Basically, the thunderstorm starts. The kids are addressing the camp, and then they all start seeking shelter because it's about to rain. Except for Ned. Okay, we already talked that Ned did that dumbass shit with they were all swimming and he pretended to drown. Hate him.
He needs a lot of attention, and he's very young, and he's never dated. I'm
so
assuming
insecure. Get out
from
of
the character from the way character was played, he's never dated anyone, and he just wants a girlfriend, and that was like his thought of like, this is how you get a girl, is doing
this. oh God, the worst.
God.
So okay, he sees Jack and Marcy, they're like making out in the rain. Oh my God, so sexy, so hot. And then he sees them and he's kind of like moping around and he's like, whatever. And then there's like this cabin, because it's full of cabins, that's what they're fixing up. There's this cabin and he turns and he sees like the shoulder of somebody walk into it, and he's like, oh hey, what's
Can I
up?
help you?
Can I help you?
Yeah, and he
What's up?
goes, I should go in there. I should
Hey,
go in there.
my 90-pound ass should go and check this out by my lonesome. Not to shame anyone, but he is 60 pounds
twig.
maximum.
Put a twig.
Nothing.
And I know maybe we're just not at the age where we thought everything was a threat, but the lore, what's the lore that we know about me?
Scared of
Taken-
everything.
Yeah, taken at the age of 8. That's what we said.
Oh,
Yeah, so I
taken
have
at the-
been ready to fucking go
She
and
wasn't
fight off my
taken.
attacker.
No,
She
you weren't
watched
taken.
No.
Yeah.
She
Wow.
watched the
He
movie.
watched
Yeah.
Taken.
I
Too
watched the
young,
movie
and
Taken
it's
at 8,
affected her.
and I have
Yeah.
been ready to fight off a killer since I was 8. So maybe that's just my perception of the
Well,
world.
yeah, we are decades,
Yeah.
of more experience
Liam
with this
Neeson
stuff. But
was
anyway,
but a thought.
So
was he-
Ned goes into this cabin. We don't know what happens to him, and then it starts raining. So then Jack and what's her face go into the cabin, and they're like,
Oh yeah, Marcy and Jack.
they said
Marcy and
it's
Jack.
time.
Also, really unimportant, but really fucking weird. Marcy and Jack were talking, and Marcy was like, "Yeah, I have this dream sometimes where it's raining really
Oh,
hard.
it's raining blood.
And it's too hard, so
Hey.
I cover my ears, and then the rain turns to blood."
Hey,
And she was like,
hey.
Yeah, what does that mean?
and that's my rain.
Why-
I call it my rain dream.
She said shower dream.
Yeah.
Like
My shower
shower.
dream.
And I said, girl,
But
what?
and then they're like, okay, let's go into the cabin, and then they start yoinking.
He said that kind of turned me
Yeah.
on.
which another thing, I was like, what is this adding to the what? Because I was like, maybe they'll call back to it, maybe it'll be a thing. Hey, no, she just
No.
had a dream about
No.
that.
You know
She's
what
just
it
a
is?
weirdo.
You know
But
what it is? What I was thinking the whole time is like these little scenes, these pointless things. Like there's a shot of a cop car doing a 3-point turn and driving away. Like,
Oh
why do
my
we-
God, it took so long for the cop on the motorcycle to just turn around. I couldn't,
But-
I couldn't
Yeah.
handle
Flames.
flames. Like and first of all, they did a horrible job making his motorcycle look like a cop motorcycle. They just took like the letters that you would put on a side of a mailbox and they wrote police on the front and sides of his blue motorcycle. And
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay, not buying it. And he's like, yeah, you can't. Well, what are you smoking, a doobie? And they're like, no, we weren't smoking a doobie, officer. And he's like, all right. And then it takes him 8 years to do a 3-point turn. He
But-
speeds off and then goes, and then
Which-
speeds back out.
Honestly,
But
I
my-
thought it was kind of embarrassing. I was like, he had to like pick it up.
Yeah, he
kinda
had to,
and
like-
turn it.
And they cut that scene short because he was supposed to turn and he was just going straight. This man couldn't
Yeah,
drive the motorcycle.
But wait. My point is that the reason I feel like if like giving the benefit of the doubt, I think they included these dumbass scenes to make it feel more like what you see in a documentary. Like you're actually there with them. You're just watching them live their lives.
I think
You're
they're
not
just filling
watching-
time. I think they
You're
were
not-
just
It felt like you're not just watching a scene of a movie. It's like I'm just sneaking in. I'm like listening to these kids have a dumbass
Peeking
conversation.
in.
It's like
I
why is
Yeah,
that
I
the
just
part
feel
I
like
have to see? Why do I
I
have to
know, I
peek in at that?
genuinely think that there's just parts in movies,
Right.
older movies, that aren't for the plot. Like everything in a movie you watch today has something to do with
yeah,
something. It's
yeah.
constantly engaging you.
Yeah.
I have watched a lot of old movies at this point. Not everything is supposed to be super engaging. Sometimes we're just adding to the set. We're
Yeah.
adding to the scene.
Context and stuff. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even we're not even adding to
I-
the characters.
I
We're
wanted
adding
to
to
die.
the world.
Yeah,
Does that
The
make
world
sense?
building. That was one of my like beefs with the movie in terms of when it comes to my rating at the end. We'll talk about it, but it was just kind of like there's so many scenes where I was like, we could make this 30
This could have been a
seconds
30-minute movie. This could have been a 30-minute movie and I would have been fine, but it was
Yeah,
an hour and a
literally.
half.
They were taking more time showing these dumbass scenes than the scenes where they actually die.
And I know that there's a
That's what I'm saying, and it's a whole.
we're gonna get hate for this one because I know there's a lot of people that are listening to
I don't
this
know what
and
we're
they're
gonna
like,
do. We lost
She
her.
froze.
and
She froze.
you can't see me.
Well, oh,
Can you see me now?
No, nobody hate.
Yes,
now
nobody
we hear
hate
you.
because
Hold
I
on.
did love this movie. It's good.
I didn't.
Well,
You can hate me. I
I'm
don't
trying
care.
to.
Yes.
Yes, Christian.
Hi. Okay. So my case for this movie, I understand that a lot of the critiques that we have are because it was maybe filmed in the 70s and it literally came out in
Yeah,
19 exactly 80, you know? So we're not trying to hate on that regard. It's just kind of like if I could make it better,
yeah,
these are
yeah,
the
yeah.
things I would
Watching
do.
it from the perspective of the movies we get to watch now.
Hey, and if you don't like it, I don't care. If you don't like my opinion, turn off the podcast. Amen.
Yeah, bye.
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 Amen.
Okay.
Continue.
Anyway,
So we watched them.
wait,
Okay.
can I?
Yes.
Okay. So anyway, what I was gonna say about the cop is that we never talked about that, but basically the cop mentions that there's a guy running around named Ralph, which is why we mentioned him earlier. And he was like, they were like, is he dangerous? Like, what's going on? And he was like, I don't know. Like, he's been causing some trouble whenever he gets drunk. Like, watch out for him, whatever. And then essentially the kids do meet Ralph, and Ralph warns them, like, before the whole storm and stuff begins, he's like, guys, you're doomed. This place is cursed. You're all gonna die. Like, please don't stay. Get out. I get out all you can. I warned you. And then he rides away. So that was their warning before all the mayhem ensues. So,
but then Ned dies. So whatever. So then Ned dies. Jack and Marcy boink. They finish boinking. We get a camera pan shot up. Would anybody like to tell me what the secret prize is behind the door?
So
It's not the door. It's behind the sheets on the top bunk.
They're fucking on a bunk bed, and then the camera slowly pans up the top bunk, and Ned is dead. He's
sliced.
And
Which, can I tell you, when I saw that, I thought he was like his eyes were open because it doesn't show you the neck at first. And I was like, wow, he's shocked. He's like,
yeah.
Listening.
Oh my god, Kristen, I thought the exact same thing.
I thought he was like, I thought he was just like, because I
saw his neck before I saw his eyes.
For a second. I saw his eyes first, and I was like, oh, he's just like, ooh, in it. And then I realized it wasn't a ooh, it was a he was dead.
Yeah, he was
can I tell you, you could have told me 3 different things to pick out of a hat to guess what that would have been. I would have never guessed. Can I tell you, this killer has a sense of humor because that is so funny. Hey, that is so funny. To me, the way that they place bodies, just, can I tell you, it was
funny.
The killer gets very creative with it. Snaps.
Yeah, props. But we'll find out later that the killer is crazy. But we'll tell you that when we come to that.
Well,
if you give me a second.
If you give me a fucking second.
We'll get to it.
So Marcy has to pee because she just boinked. And that is practicing good sexual health. Everybody pee after sex.
Amen, sister. But at the same time, as this is happening and the storm is getting crazy, is the scene that Sabrina was referencing earlier, where Bill, I want to call her Helga every time.
Brenda.
Bill, Alice, and Brenda are together because of the storm. They're in a cabin and they play Monopoly. And Brenda was like, let's play Monopoly. And they're like, boring. And she was like, no, not the way I play it. We're playing strip Monopoly.
Yeah, so which I've never heard of.
No, she made that up to get naked.
Yeah.
Which is why you don't get any explicit kind of vibes that Brenda wants to boink none of the people in this room really have any set partner except for Alice, because her and Steve kind of got this thing going on. But like, just because I think they're maybe horny, they all just want to hump a wall. It's like, what?
They're just it's the sexual tension of the whole thing.
And you want to rub.
I don't know what this phenomenon is that these people are experiencing.
They were gonna play strip Monopoly, and Sabrina, you're totally right. But like, they just wanted to do it because of the teenage horny vibes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they're doing
the hormones
that, and as Sabrina said,
good sexual practices. Go pee after. She does that,
and then she's in the bathroom, and she's like, talking to herself in the mirror, making like hee hee ha ha's to herself.
Oh, she was saying weird stuff to herself in the mirror.
She
quoting
was
a movie.
Let me pause you right there. I'm gonna put a pin in it. Camera cuts. We're back at Jack. She's pissing. Okay, Marcy's pissing. That's right. Fine, right? Marcy's pissing. Camera cuts. We're back at Jack. He's just he's putting his chonies back on. That's underwear. Okay, he's putting his chonies back on. He's vibing. He's like, I just got some. Life is great. Life is so good. He's laying back in his pillow, like chest to the sky, back. He's relaxed. Pause. Hey, what's that? Arrow through the neck.
And then the guy's holding him down.
Not only arrow through the neck, his head was held into the mattress and pillow, and the arrow went through the mattress and pillow
through the bottom of the mattress, through him,
through the bed.
That's what we call in the business a sharp ass arrow.
Oh, that is what we call.
He gets fucking shanked through the neck, and we see another cool 80s. It probably was so innovative back then, where like we see his face.
That's so hey, that's the most backhanded compliment I've ever heard in my life, but I'm gonna let you go with it.
Well, it's
so innovative back then.
It's just trash.
You did say it kind of
like
wow, Chelsea.
You can tell the different color of his face to the neck, but back then it was probably like, holy shit, it looks like he's bleeding from his neck. It was.
Well, can I tell you, they just got color, you know.
Okay. No, but I'm a very simple little mouse.
That was a yoke.
Impress. I'm a little simple mouse to impress. So I was gagged, but I think I was more gagged for the plot. Like I wasn't looking for practical effects. Like, I knew nothing about this movie.
They were good.
I knew nothing about this movie before walking in, so I didn't know there was gonna be practical.
Right.
I thought everybody was just gonna get shanked with a kitchen knife. Okay. I thought that we were all just going for guts. I thought it was gonna be thing.
Retractable knives that like
and then because we had just had Annie and Ned with a slash to the throat, I thought, oh well, this guy's just gonna get slashed to the throat. Same effect. I thought it was gonna be the same effect on every person because I thought he's a classic. Maybe this is his thing. No, bitch, switches it up. So fun.
I agree.
So
I really enjoyed the creativity with the kills, which I wasn't really expecting from.
I heard a rumor that they killed real people in this movie to make it look.
You're so dumb. Yeah,
okay.
when we were watching, something happens at the end where it's another SFX, and Christian goes, because of the whole snake thing, Christian goes, fun fact, that actor dead.
Last role.
That was their last role, and that was actually killed, and they didn't know when they signed up for the movie.
Talking about creative deaths, the next one actually is my favorite. That one gagged me. I thought it was really good.
Marcy.
So Marcy actually goes out in a really cool way. Hey, spoiler alert, she dies. Sorry. It came out in the 80s.
All of them basically die.
Hey,
yeah. Welcome.
Hey, guess what? It's a slasher, so.
It's a slasher.
Welcome
what do you
to the
think was
slasher
gonna happen? So I love that we're fighting with someone who hasn't said anything. Hey, the audience is just there.
We're like, hey, so shut up, you're wrong.
But so Marcy's just doing her little potty dance. She's on the toilet. She ain't got no shoes on, which is very weird.
One thing my Hispanic.
Why did that take me out?
One thing my Hispanic parents taught me, and maybe it's not a Hispanic thing, but you don't go into a public shower without flip-flops on.
It was, can I tell you, we're in the middle of the boonies. It's woodsy. And I'm just thinking like my house, I live in the boons. Okay. Hey, I would never walk outside of my house without shoes on. There's snakes, tigers, and bears in the grass. Well, yeah, just the public bathroom. But I don't know. I guess nobody's there. They're the only ones there. But maybe I don't know.
They just reopened it, and I know that Steve didn't fucking clean that bathroom with a toothbrush.
It actually looked pretty decent, that bathroom. I actually didn't think it looked grody. As far as camping bathroom goes,
I'd wear flip-flops in it.
I would want to wear shoes, but it didn't look nasty. Like there's some horror movies that add nasty to the list of things that you're like uncomfortable by to make you scared. I don't think it was a nasty bathroom.
But anyway, how she died?
Oh, so she takes a little pee and she hears a little cricket. She's like, Jack, are you there? Whatever. We do this whole little cat and mouse thing. Little does she thinks she's a cat. Wrong. She's a mouse.
She's the goddamn mouse.
Yeah,
she's the goddamn
literally.
mouse. So she opens the door to the showers, and then there's something like wiggling in there, and she's like, "Oh my god, guys, stop fucking with me. That's not funny." So she goes and she scared me. Okay, so she starts doing that thing. All the shower curtains are closed, and she pulls one shower curtain really fast. She's like, "She's not there." And then she turns around, immediately hatchet to the face. Hey,
She gave up immediately. She
Mhm.
said,
Oh, yeah.
"Oh my god!"
Can I tell
She
you?
turns around, sees the hatchet, goes and dies.
No, literally just pauses,
No
doesn't
fight.
even, no hands, no nothing. She just turns her face. Can I tell you? Mama knew her angles. She said, "Oh." She gave us angles, the hair, the everything, the scream, and then the shot of half a hatchet in this bitch's face is crazy.
That was
loved
wild. That was my favorite too. I love the hatchet.
I just thought it was so funny. This is such a small little girl with such a large instrument now hanging out of her face, her beautiful little face.
Yeah.
Okay, there goes another.
There goes another. What's next?
There goes
Brenda.
another. There it goes.
Who wants to tell the story of Brenda?
What happened to Brenda? I remember seeing her dead afterwards in a little bit, but I don't remember how she died.
That was the flashlight and the whole thing, right?
There was a little.
Yeah.
Remember, it started storming.
Yeah.
Sexy Monopoly. She's like, "This is sexy and all, but I gotta go."
Yeah,
Because I
she
think
was
the
like, "I
generator went out or something.
No,
She said,
she
"I
was
left my
like,
window
I left-
open."
I left
Yeah,
my
she
window
left her.
open.
They were about. They all had like one piece of clothes. Well, her and the dude had one piece of clothing left until some of their marital parts were showing, and then conveniently she was like, "Oh no, it's raining. I think I left my window open in my cabin. I gotta go. We'll have to do this another time." And I'm like, wow, what a chicken.
Yeah, she started the whole game and then said, "Actually, never mind."
Yeah, girl, this was your idea. Why you tapping out?
So she goes to her cabin.
It's like it was gonna be wet anyways. It's been storming for however long Monopoly is. Which,
we've
if y'all
been
know
here
how
for
to
a
play
while.
Monopoly takes
I don't.
hours.
A long time.
Hours.
Okay, so Brenda leaves and she goes to her cabin, she gets her shit, then she goes to the bathroom to brush her teeth. Hi, it's storming. We could have brushed our teeth in the morning, but no.
Yeah.
She did the dental hygiene.
Harry, I can hear your alarm going off.
She brushes her teeth in the bathroom, and then she goes back, she brushes her hair, she gets in a little moo.
Gets in the moo.
And can I tell you, I was telling Christian, she ended up getting up in a second, but I was telling Christian, if I get into my moo, I'm not getting up for nobody.
Hey, same.
I'm in my moo.
Yeah, it's moo time.
She hears this little boy. Help. It's so funny. Sorry. No, it's not, but it's funny. So this little boy, hey, where would a little boy have come from? And can I tell you, if the little boy came out of the wood, we have bigger fish to fry. I'm locking the doors.
I only just realized what the noise was. Now that you're saying that, I only just realized what the noise was. But continue.
So and then she's like, it's just, "What the shit?"
It's like, girl, why do we? I don't know. I understand that we cared for the betterment of human beings and life, but it is a thunderstorm out there. It is pouring rain.
Yeah.
She's in her moo, goes out, no umbrella, no raincoat, no nothing, out in full moo, drenched, one big flashlight.
In this economy,
if I may,
that's like
if I
shining
might,
out to everything. Yeah.
This is back when you could be a good person and you didn't have to worry about all the things that we have to worry about now.
Right.
Like I feel like goodness and kindness of people was more readily given. Like remember when we watched the beginning of Barbarian?
We met a week ago. I'm not going out if you say help me.
Well, no. I mean, I think people are nicer. And this is my obviously I was not even but a thought. I don't even think my mom was 12. So
right.
But my perception of this time is that it's just a lot more neighborly. Like, remember the beginning of Barbarian, where that girl just lets the killer into her house and she's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna check us out. Yeah, get in there. Thanks. Yeah. Oh my God, that's so great." I think they didn't have all these things that they were worried about because I don't think it happened so frequently, and maybe that's a lie. Maybe it happened frequently and we just didn't know about it. All these different factors.
Yeah, all that stuff. But it's also the fact that she just went out there moo only. And a flashlight.
She had a raincoat.
drenched.
She had
Well,
a
Miss
raincoat.
Girl, after she went to go pee earlier, she ran out with a raincoat over her shoulders, a crop top, and her panty. Like, we're running around in the rain with nothing on.
Yeah.
I
Literally.
don't get it. Like, I
It's
don't
And
care
And
that
can I
much.
tell you,
80s.
the flashlight she was holding, it's the 80s. The flashlight she was holding was sterling silver and about this long.
It was a football stadium light, dude. She was just
Yeah.
carrying
Yeah,
it like this.
she could
like
light
the
up a freaking football
boombox. You
stadium.
know what I
We
mean?
we hadn't
It was a
invented
good one.
we hadn't invented like that compact technology just
Yeah.
yet, you know?
I
And
liked it.
Speaking of stadium lighting, she
It was
ends
good.
up by the archery field, and then someone turns on all the lights at the
All
archery
of them.
field.
Dunk.
Right.
So they're like
dunk,
blinding
dunk, dunk.
lights on her, and she's like, "What
Felt
is
like,
that?"
are you the one?
She's like, Ned. Flashback. Not actually flashback, but this is just like we didn't talk about this earlier. Ned was fucking with her earlier. She was putting up this like target for the archery range. She was putting up the target for the archery range. And then this guy, hey, once again, remember when I said I hate this guy?
Just as a funny hee hee ha ha.
As a funny hee hee ha ha. She literally had just set it on the thing that you put the haystack on, and he shoots an arrow at it.
From
while she's
across
standing
the
right
thing,
next
yeah.
to it. Hey Ned, unless you have a certified degree in whatever the shit you need that in, okay, don't do that ever. And I know that you're a 16-year-old asshole. Get the fuck out of my face. Sorry. And I will get up. I won't. I feel so many emotions about this guy.
Liable to put somebody's eye
She said,
out.
and I will and I won't.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
does.
So the lights all turn on and she's confused.
The lights turn on, she's confused, and then the camera just kind of moves away from her, and we hear her scream. So
yeah,
like
Brenda's
Y'all can
down for the
assume-
count. Down
Another
for the
one.
count.
so far we have
Another one.
so
So
far we
down-
have Ned,
We're
Jack, Marcy, and Brenda now.
from the camp. Well, Alice, we're down for 5. Kill count.
Oh, and Alice at the very beginning of the movie.
Okay. And then,
Alice is alive. That was Annie.
Esa misma.
oh, that's what I said.
Oh God. Why do we name them things that were close to each other?
Right.
Because he only had
I
5
don't
names to
know.
pick from in the 70s.
Oh my God.
Yeah, nobody called
Oh
their
my
kids
gosh.
fucking Rock or stuff.
Okay, so then we flash to different scene. Alice and
What?
Bill are picking up the Monopoly. They're just like, I don't know, they're picking up and they're like, it's really quiet. I wonder where Jack and Marcy went off to.
Well,
And I'm like,
Mhm.
Am I missing
And then she's
something?
like, I think I heard a scream.
Yeah, he goes
And
Oh,
he
yeah.
was
to
like,
the generator or something, and she's alone.
Yeah. I don't remember. The lights went out twice. The generator went out twice. I just don't
Yeah.
remember when it went out the first time.
Yeah, for some
And I
reason,
think
Bill was out and Alice was alone, and then Bill comes back and she's like, I think I just heard someone scream, and it kind of sounded like Brenda. And then the lights turned on at the archery field, but then they turned off again. And
Oh,
then he's
yeah.
like, of course. I mean, okay, this is where the tropes started, so it's not of course. But of course, he's like, well, let's go check it out.
Yeah. What do you mean? Hey,
I
it's
don't need
raining.
to
We
know
can-
stuff.
whatever
that bad.
happened, I will find out in the morning.
I
Even just like
was-
not even from a like a protecting myself standpoint, from a laziness standpoint. It is guys, I don't know how to explain to you. It is pouring cats and
Raining.
dogs.
Yeah.
It is raining so hard, not normal. Like they were going full. I don't know how much the water bill was on this set, but half the movie had to have gone
Crazy.
just into the water bill. You know how many
To the
times?
water.
Yeah.
Hey, when
I-
You
they
know how
were
many times you
pumping
film
that,
a scene?
they were pumping that shit in from the lake, baby.
Oh
Dude.
yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, 100%. I got to watch this movie twice because I watched it by
Duh.
myself and then I watched it again with when Harry and Chelsea watched it. And what was better than watching it alone was watching Harry watch it, because the way that Harry was the person of watching like a classic horror movie. Don't open that door. Oh my God, you're so
yeah.
stupid.
Oh yeah.
Why did you fall? Run. It was so funny
I can't
because that's
contain
literally where all
myself
of that comes
because
from, is all of this shit.
Some of it is so fucking like common sense, bitch. Like, don't. Okay, no, we can't skip to that, but I'll get to it when we get to it.
Okay. Well, I put this in my notes. Update. Okay, so this is where Bill and Alice go to investigate. They're like, well, let's go check it out. So
Yeah.
this is what we have to update the setting right now. We find out we have no phone line. We have no lights. They came in and out, whatever. They fixed the generator. So that's easily fixed. But we also have a fun little trinket in Brenda's bed. Who remembers?
Trinket?
Trinket in Brenda's bed. Trinket in Brenda's bed. It's wet.
Ew.
I don't remember.
I
It's
don't
an
remember.
axe.
What are you
It's
talking
a
about?
bloody axe. Marcy's
Oh,
bloody
yes, there was an
axe.
axe on her bed.
They find it on her bed. Yeah.
Marcy's
about
bloody
that.
axe. I'm assuming it's Marcy because that's the only one we saw get killed with like a.
Or no. I
Mhm.
think actually that the killer might have used the axe to kill Brenda and then put the axe on Brenda's bed when they went looking for her.
I don't remember. We find out later that Brenda is dead, but I didn't like inspect her body for. I didn't get an autopsy report. You know, I didn't see how it happened.
But that's how they find
Mhm.
out that she's dead, because the bloody axe is in Brenda's bed.
But they don't assume that she's dead. They're just like, what a weird joke. They're like, this is
Hmm.
so strange. What a
And-
kadink.
Well, when did they go check the car? Because they went to go be like, let's get out of here, and then
Not yet.
Okay.
Because
Well, it's what happened after.
do they have a car?
Yes, they have a truck, a red
Yeah.
truck. They try and
The
leave.
car that they came in on.
Yeah. They try and leave and it doesn't work, and they're like, whatever, we'll just wait for Steve. He'll have his car. Which Steve went to a
Mhm.
cafe.
Which is why they're stuck there.
Steve went to a cafe. He tried to drive back to the camp. His car shut down in the middle of the road. So when they're like, Steve is coming, he'll be fine. Steve didn't have a car either. So that was
Steve ain't coming.
Yeah, but we can move on to
Nah.
Steve because he's actually the next thing. So Steve comes back. He was out getting supplies. He was at a diner. He comes back.
yeah. His car breaks down, so then the cop picks him up.
And his car is a dark colored Jeep.
Yeah, but it's
Dun-dun.
not the same Jeep.
Bum.
It's not the same Jeep because Steve was driving a, what's it called, he was hauling something with his Jeep, and the Jeep that the first person was in didn't have that.
Mhm.
But,
Well,
I mean, yeah, but it's
when
supposed
he
to be
left-
it's supposed to be a
Yeah.
misdirect because you could haul something at any point.
yeah, it's true.
When he left, he
It
wasn't
made me
hauling
think.
anything.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He was, because when he left the cafe, he was hauling it.
He was? No,
Mm.
but when he left camp, he wasn't hauling it. There was nothing attached to his Jeep.
Well, they don't show it. You just see the top of his car drive by.
Okay.
Anyway, point is that it's supposed to be a misdirect because he's
Yeah,
driving a Jeep.
and I did
Right.
think that. I was like,
Can I tell you, I didn't think about it twice. And maybe it was literally the camera angles. And I'm going to tell you why I didn't think about it twice. The camera angle is here. Steve drives off right. And then the camera angle is center, right? And the car that kills Annie is driving left. So I just assumed that it was, you know what I mean? The scenes are right after one another. Steve leaves and then we get this cut scene back to Annie and they were driving in opposite
Okay.
directions.
I
So
see what you mean. Yeah.
I never crossed the wires that maybe it's just a different angle and he's now driving this way. Now he's driving towards the left of the screen. I just thought because he drove off right and she was driving left anyways. They've never, but I don't know if that's my stupidity or if that was made on purpose.
no. But then Steve ends up getting back to the camp. He tries to go with the cop. Then the cop is redirected away from the camp, which I'm assuming was on purpose. And Steve has to walk the remainder of the way. So he gets to the camp and he gets to the sign, and someone starts shining a really bright light at his face, and he's like, what the hell, who is that? And then he finally sees the person and he goes, oh, what are you doing here? And then he gets ding dinged.
Ding,
Fing. So he
So
recognizes.
at that point in the movie, I was like, someone knows who the killer is. Like, the person wasn't expecting it to be a killer because Steve recognizes that person.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's like the
because
first.
then I started thinking about all the people in the cafe.
Mm.
I was like, this town
Mhm.
has a population of maybe 30. So
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
it's the lady who made him that little coffee.
it has to be somebody from that cafe at the beginning.
But so
yeah,
then he
Steve's
gets
out.
paid.
That's 6 for the count.
6 for the count. So then they go back to the cabin. I'm talking Alice and Bill, and that's when the generator goes out. And
Wow.
Bill is like,
Yeah, I have it right here in my notes. Steve dies, lights out.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the generator cuts out, and Bill's like, I'm gonna go check it. And then Alice is like falling asleep. Guess it was too much for her, so she's falling asleep. And then he's like, just trying to sleep. I'll go by myself. Well, he goes by himself. He tries to fix generator. He's like, there's still a full tank of gas. What's happening? And then before he can see what it is, we cut back to Alice, and she like screams out of her sleep and is like, Bill! And then
Yeah.
oh, that's right. He went to check the generator.
Which was a lot.
She scared herself.
Yeah. And then she's like, but he hasn't
Has
been
to
back.
make herself a little cup of tea. Then you see this kind of, oh my God, they do a pan of this kitchen in the cabin that she's in. And there's this pantry that has a door hole, but the door hole is literally like it's where a handle would be, but it's just a hole.
Mhm.
I immediately was like, the killer's in the pantry, the killer's in the pantry, the killer's in the pantry. The killer was not in the pantry. I was just paranoid. And that's what the movie
That's
is
what I'm
supposed
saying.
to do.
That's one of the things where I was like, they like stood with this whole scene. They stayed with the scene for so long. I was like, I know that you're trying to get me to be like, oh, there's someone there or someone's gonna pop out, but like it was so long and nothing happened that I was just kind of
But
like,
again,
Yeah.
it was probably
Oh.
so
I liked it. I think
effectively-
she was edging me. You know what I mean? She was just
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen that happen in other movies successfully. I just don't think that this one edged me. This one
But I think
was
this
kind of
was
like,
again, this was the 80s version. Like people in the 80s in that movie theater were shitting.
but I've had other
Which-
movies, other 80s movies that did that good, is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's not
If I may,
because
if I may.
there's a way to
After
execute that type of
1980,
scene.
maybe
I agree with Harry
What's
though.
2 years or 3 years?
I agree with Harry though, because when this is not the same movie, but when I talked to my mom about Nightmare on Elm Street, which I think is so not scary. I wasn't scared at any point on Nightmare on Elm Street. And I loved it and like whatever. She was like, that movie gave me nightmares for years. And I like couldn't conceptualize that. So I think it's just
Well, can I
different
tell
vibes.
you, my mom is scared of Scream, which can I tell you, not scary.
Are
And
we
was-
just
she was
like
"Hey,
desensitized?
Scream,
What's
nightmares."
wrong with us?
I also
well,
think
we've
that we have
seen-
gotten
Well, no, we are.
desensitized.
We are.
We've seen
Because
shit
I
like
used to be a
Hereditary,
big
where I have
scaredy
to-
cat, and now
Right.
I can watch things that I used to be like,
Yeah,
That's
and
what I'm
it all-
saying. Like,
and
I
can we
remember my
believe-
mom.
I was gonna say, can we believe it all started with Ma?
Ma,
it's Octavia
Ma,
Spencer.
don't
Amen.
make me drink
Octavia
alone.
Spencer.
Don't make me drink alone. Don't make me drink alone.
alone.
Oh yeah. Um,
But yeah, we're definitely more desensitized and stuff. Because I remember I literally was watching it at like the ripe age of, I don't know. I was in high school and I remember I was watching it and she was like, I can't watch that scene. I will cry. It was like the opening
Oh my
scene of Scream.
God.
And she was like, hey, I need to leave. She's like, I need to leave the room. I need to leave the room. That gives me anxiety. Like full Sabrina mode.
Wow.
How dare you say that? How dare you say that for the public to know? How dare you? How dare you, sir? That's so rude.
I had to sneak in a roast. I love you.
So then, not Marcy, that bitch is dead. Alice goes to check on Bill, and she goes into her,
Sorry.
she goes into her generator
You
is,
said that.
and she is like, Bill is not here, and she's like, whatever, I'll look for him somewhere else. So she, as she's leaving, she closes the door of where the generator is. Hi, Bill.
Hey, found Bill.
is-
I found him. I found him.
Hey,
Bill
found him.
is,
Rung up.
strung up to the door via arrows that we're holding. It's like
Yeah.
when you get a poster and you get some thumbtacks and you thumbtack it onto the wall. His body was thumbtacked.
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
arrows.
He was hung
Which
up.
also, commentary. And I don't wanna tell nobody nothing till we get there. But hey, the
I
killer's
just
strong
went
as
on
shit.
a roller coaster with that sentence.
Sorry. The killer is
Yeah.
strong as shit. Hey, hi. The killer lifts 45-pound weights with
Yeah.
one pinky. That is crazy. Because Bill, okay, Ned, I understand. I could hold him by his like top hair and just like thumbtack him. Respectfully, no body shaming. It's just what it is.
Right.
Bill, though, is a good size human being. You know, like he's got meat on his bones. He's not very thin, but he's not a chubby man. He's just an average size build, but he's a strong looking teenager. Hey, how fucking strong are you? And it is just to like shock me because I am shocked. But then you think about it, I'm like, is this motherfucking killer just standing
think
there? Like, how did you do that?
I think the four of us
Also-
together would have a hard time stringing up a body like that.
100%.
If the four of us got
100%.
together.
Green.
And it's like, also, this is the most silent killer ever. Never
Yeah.
No
detected.
footsteps.
Never.
No
Yeah,
sneezes.
can I
no
tell you,
coughs.
this motherfucker is riddled with arrows. Hey, riddled with arrows. And not only riddled with arrows,
Harry's
throat slit as
pissing
well.
right
I don't know
now.
if you noticed. His throat was slit. So
Mhm.
she made
Yeah.
I don't know what personal
Ting,
gripe
ting,
she had with
Bling,
Bill,
bling, kum, bing.
It's
but
like
she wanted to fucking make sure that Bill
you
never saw
mean
the light of
they,
day.
you mean they, you mean they.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh no.
Anyway, so
If-
yeah, it's almost
and
like
God is a woman.
God is a
amen.
woman. And
Okay,
it's
maybe
almost like
maybe we can dolphin noise it.
no, it's fine. It's almost like the killer. We're almost at
It's
the end.
whatever.
It's almost like the killer like threw Bill really high in the air, ran
Oh
over,
God.
And then said,
It's like they do with the duck challenges where they
Yeah,
like shoot him out
yeah.
in the sky. Ping, ping, pong,
She,
pong.
yeah, they did a freaking Katniss Everdeen said and cut him off.
she actually
And just
she put
Please, I need a Photoshop picture of the Jason mask on top of.
it was put 5 arrows like at the same time, and then just fucking let them all go at the same time, and they all just kept him on.
yes.
But anyway,
Oh
so
yeah,
yeah,
and it landed in
100%.
a way that was around his body. Said, "Duk, duk, 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 duk,
and
duk,
that's
duk, duk."
and that's what we in the biz that's what we in the biz call a strong ass arrow.
Okay, damn, we have a
arrow.
lot of business
Okay.
words for arrows.
ass arrow. Okay, so then
But anyway,
she like
Alice.
freaked the fuck out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
She freaks the fuck out. She starts
I was proud that she left because I feel like everybody else in this movie before her screams and stands and stares.
Yeah.
But she said, "Oh, I gotta go,"
But can I tell you,
which is
we find
why she is in the position she's in. She's
but
Alice.
we
and
find out she's
everyone else.
just as big a dumb bitch as the rest of them.
Yeah.
she doesn't fight that hard.
No,
She just has
this
incredible
is the
luck.
part that I wanted to talk about. So, okay, so she's like freaking out. The killer's coming for her. She hides in the house. The killer throws Brenda's body, finally it appears, through a window to scare Alice. She like locks her door. She puts things in front of the door, which by the way, she puts things to block the door, even though the door opens out. It was so fucking dumb.
Really? Are you serious? That
Mhm.
can I tell you I'm pissing. I'm pissing. That's so funny.
The door earlier in the
And
movie
it was
literally
Funny, I never realized
flies
that.
open the other way.
So
Also, she was
long.
stacking things.
Oh my
like
god,
she was getting paid
forever.
hourly.
Oh
if you know
my
what I mean.
God.
Can I tell you?
That's what I was saying. She's like stocking a freaking shelf at the freaking.
That's when like I
Aldi's.
hit my limit.
But
Because
also-
she was stacking all this stuff against the door that's gonna open out. So like, girl, what
All
on
she
God's
was
green
doing-
earth?
All she was doing was locking herself into the house.
I and like she was taking forever.
You know what? You guys are so right, and I'm so dumb. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together that she was blocking the door. She had just put a rope over this like beam on the roof and like tied a string to the handle so that it would like
hold
like
it closed.
the-
Yeah.
it would hold it closed. I didn't realize why is she doing that, and then also stacking on the inside,
Like
I don't know. Maybe
logs
so
on
the
the coffee
killer
table.
trips.
But,
And then
okay,
she was like closing the drapes, but not all the drapes, just certain
Yeah.
sets of drapes.
it would make
and
sense.
very slowly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It would make sense to block the door if the killer was outside. Like if she knew the killer was outside and like they somehow managed to break the rope, but they still had to get around these things. Like it would buy her
Yeah.
time. But she didn't know that. She was just being stupid.
I
Anyway,
was still weary of this fucking pantry that I saw in this long shot earlier when she was making
Yeah,
herself
the
fucking
killer could be in
tea.
the house, girl.
anyway, the killer is freaking her out. She finally runs out of the house. And
After all that work.
and she breaks it up and she runs out of the house and she sees this old woman like in a car.
There's a Jeep. There's a Jeep that comes in. She thinks it's
Jeep.
gonna be Steve.
pulls up.
Jeep.
Yeah.
Jeep.
She thinks it's
Jeep
gonna be
alert.
Steve.
The Jeep is like navy
Jeep,
blue
Jeep.
and teal.
Yeah. So and then this lady comes out. And can I tell you, I didn't think about that at that point. Not gonna lie. I didn't
Also,
put the
you know
Jeep
what I
together.
didn't fucking think about? Nobody would have known this watching the first installment, but she introduced herself as Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah. Which we know.
Okay. Am I
Jason,
supposed
But
to
we
know that?
wouldn't have.
Jason-
at the
As
No
time.
one would have known though.
no one would have known
Oh.
back then. But Jason's name is Jason Voorhees.
Oh, I
that-
didn't know that.
That's what
Yeah, yeah.
happens
I only
when you
knew his
watch
name
it
was
40
Jason.
years after the fact.
But
Well.
even I didn't fucking hear that while we were watching it. And I was like, oh my God, finally, like this lady has a car. And then the woman's like, hey girl, calm down. Tell me what's happened. I can't help you if you're just like crying and screaming. And she's like, everyone's dead. And the lady's like, okay, let's calm down. Let's see what's going on. The lady walks into the house and sees Brenda's body. And she's like, oh my God, died so young. That's so sad. And
She gives an Oscar-worthy. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, the
Oh.
oh,
God.
this place. It should never be open.
The horror.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, when Annie is looking for the camp, all the people are like, that place shouldn't get opened. It hasn't been open for this many years. And like, Steve is trying to open it. It shouldn't be opened. So she's the same thing. She's like, oh, this place should never be opened. It's cursed. And then Alice starts getting weary and she's like, maybe we should wait for Steve to come back. And then Miss Voorhees is like, no, we shouldn't do that. Why do we need to do that? No need to worry.
Because she'd be knowing.
And then she keeps getting scarier and scarier. And she keeps
she's
saying,
just more unsettling. She's more unsettling.
yeah, she keeps saying weird shit. And then she talks about how the camp is really irresponsible, how this kid drowned before the two were killed, which were the two at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, she was like, this
Because
camp has been cursed ever since 1957 when a little boy died.
And the
drowned in a
counselors
lake.
weren't watching. The counselors were busy being teenagers having intercourse.
Yeah.
Instead of watching this boy. He shouldn't have died.
Hey, tell me if I'm wrong. Then she goes, in this little voice, she goes, help.
No, not yet.
No.
Oh, what did she say? I thought she spoke in his voice at that point.
No,
she says I'm him, which was weird.
She goes, I'm him. I am Jason. And then she ends up saying that she's Jason's mom. And she's the one who's been killing everyone because she doesn't want the camp to be open because.
And Jason was the boy who died who drowned.
Yeah, who drowned. Her son drowned, and she doesn't want, like, the camp is irresponsible to have people there again. So she killed everyone so it wouldn't happen.
Okay, so
we could have a council meeting.
Girl, lobby the government. Don't take it out on the teenagers that are trying to make some money.
But guys, we find she got mental illness.
She's got mental illness.
Yeah.
Because Alice starts like running around trying to escape. This is the point that I was gonna say earlier that I didn't want to get to too early, and it pissed me the fuck off. The first fucking place she runs to when she runs out of the cabin is the working vehicle, and she doesn't go in and drive it.
I was shocked.
Someone's dead body was in it. Bitch,
you see Annie's dead body in the back. I don't care. We're going for a joyride.
I would have driven Annie around wherever she wanted to go. I just needed to get the fuck.
You said Uber.
Out.
You said Uber for Annie? Yeah.
Uber for Annie, literally. But no, she gets scared by Annie's body and runs out. Anyway, I say all of this to say that as what's her face is run Annie's Allie.
Wow, Alice. Her name is Alice.
As Alice is running around trying to escape, Miss Voorhees is speaking in Jason's voice, going, "Kill him, mommy. I mean, kill her, mommy. Get her. Kill her, mommy.
Get her.
And in the same breath, goes, "I will, Jason. Don't worry." Hi.
Yeah.
And can I tell you what
What a
immediately gave me? It's literally Norman Bates in reverse. You know what I mean? Norman killed his mom, duh. But it's literally Norman Bates in reverse, where he lives inside of her. I
literally wrote down
the last thing that I thought was gonna happen, because this whole time, guys, I know shit about fuck. I really went into this knowing nothing. I know I got to 22 years of age, never watched this, whatever. They're not saying anything. Whatever. But I didn't know anything about this, so this entire time I'm like, where's the guy in the ski mask? Hey, where's the guy? Is this hockey mask? Hockey mask.
Yeah,
hockey goalie mask.
Hockey mask, yeah.
Where's the guy in the hockey
Can
mask?
I tell you, I was waiting for the same thing.
I was like, where's this big man to be like Michael Myers?
And I still don't understand Michael Myers.
We can talk about it.
We'll talk about it at the end.
We'll talk about it in a second.
I'll explain the lore.
Oh, okay.
But
cool.
So basically, she runs out. She gets shot. Was like, "Girl, I'm gonna get in this car." Oops, actually no, because I see Annie. She's scared. She runs away.
Dumbest fucking shit she did the entire movie.
It's like then we go on a Tom and Jerry
Tom
run
and Jerry
around.
little cat and mouse game. Fing, fing, fing.
Yeah.
They're trying to find each other. She finds a gun in this like little cabin. Homegirl, Miss Voorhees turns on the lights, sees that she's in there, and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't find the freaking bullets. I can't find the bullets."
The amount of times that she knocks this old bitch over and still doesn't run to the car is
And that's
just
why you gotta double tap people. That's why you gotta knock
Can I
them
tell you?
out.
But
and
she
then
doesn't even single
kill
tap.
'em.
She just pushes her over and then runs. And
Yeah.
I'm like, did you not
But,
see
like,
Bill
even
literally
that-
pinprick to the fucking door? She's not pulling her punches, so you
Yeah.
better not.
Projected.
But even then, if it was just a pushover, run to the car. How do you escape? Run to the damn working vehicle.
Yeah,
The
girl, we gotta
lights
drive
were on,
home.
the keys were still in that shit. But no.
Yeah. And she's finding all these bodies as this is happening as well. Essentially, they tackle each other. Ooh, oh my god, ooh, but no one's killing anyone yet. They're slapping, they're pushing.
Oh yeah.
She eventually goes into the cabin again, turns off the light, and hides in like this closet, right? Or is it the pantry?
It's the pantry, but also what the killer's not gonna realize that the only cabin that suddenly has the lights off is where you are.
Right.
Yeah, out of all of them that have the lights
Yeah.
on there. Whatever. So we can have that
But
beef.
she did at least lock the pantry door, which I was proud. I didn't think she was gonna.
And so she hides in there. She hears that Mrs. Voorhees comes in, and she's like, "Oh." So she's like, "I must."
No, she doesn't speak. She doesn't speak.
She does no.
No, but it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
Yeah, that was a really good interpretation of what she felt like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well,
yeah,
and she gasps so loudly.
It just tickled me.
The lady will walk by and she'll be like, "Ah," and it's like, "Okay, they heard you."
Yeah, found him.
It's literally,
found him.
The way that they gasp and scream is so loud. But anyway, so she's like, "Oh my god, okay." She's like hiding, and then essentially, obviously, she's like, "I'm gonna check this closed door." Bing, bing, bing. She's trying to knock that stuff down. And
they really do just knock
she
out
has a
the whole
little
pantry.
Here's Johnny.
She has a little The Shining moment, and she goes, "Here's Johnny." The little hole. And she's like, "Oh my god, she found me. Oh no." And then they end up, tackling, fighting again. And she how does she hit her? She hits her with something. How does she get her to knock out again?
She hits her with a pan. Not a pan.
Oh, like
a pot.
Like a
yeah,
cast
she grabs
iron.
a pot.
Yeah.
And knocks her upside the head, and Miss Voorhees goes
again.
And then she takes the slowest waltz out of.
She also
the
does
cabin.
the most gentle tap to the face I've ever seen in my life. Can I tell you? Respectfully, I would hit you so hard your head was looking backwards. You would be able to lick your own asshole.
Yeah.
And
You're trying to kill me? Are you fucking for real right now?
Not only is it a slow jaunt out of that cabin, she stops to look at the old woman on the floor. Hi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she walks. She
if you're
walks.
gonna lose sight of the killer, you got to make sure the killer's down. But if you know that the killer can't be down, we gotta go. I don't know. She just mixes options that are whatever.
You either have to book it. You either book it or you make sure that there's no life in that body right there. And
we're
she
not just
does
standing.
neither. Yeah, she stands there and she's
observing.
like, "Oh, I guess she's dead. Okay, cool." And she walks up the little cabin. She's walking down a little like path, and she goes, "You know what? Actually, I'm gonna sit in this little and stare at the water. I think the water looks really nice in the moonlight."
Of the lake, sits at the beach and stares at the sky.
She's just like reflecting on the water, which
and
like
spoiler alert, Voorhees isn't dead. She comes right back on her because can I tell you she can't go down. That bitch is strong as shit.
Yeah,
strong as shit.
Yeah.
She stabbed an arrow through a bed and a neck.
But then
and a neck.
I'm gonna reveal the fucking all this pent up tension of her being like, then she fucking slices Mrs. Voorhees' head off. I don't know where she got that manpower all of a sudden. All this pushing stuff and trying to find bullets. She grabbed Miss Voorhees' machete after tussling with her on the ground and slices the shit out of her head. separate.
And then she takes a little canoe ride.
And that was that actress's last performance, actually. They said
Yes.
That's where Christian was like.
that was the scene that we were talking about.
They didn't tell
Just
her,
kidding.
but they
Obviously.
were gonna kill her. They killed
Sister.
her.
And that's why we're canceling Friday the 13th. You heard it here first.
Okay, so then Alice takes I don't know. I think Alice just fell off her rocker at this point. All her friends are dead. She just killed someone.
Christian made a good point where it's like the only place she felt sort of safe was in the middle of the water, where like if someone was going to come to her while she had to rest or sleep or whatever, she would.
It would have woke her, unless they were quiet about it and slunk over. I could have slunk over quiet.
I feel like I could row a canoe real soft.
Yeah,
but maybe you would feel it in the water. Maybe that's what she's thinking.
And again,
well, can I tell you, at this point, it's the middle of nowhere. She has no car. I don't know. I guess
she has.
Well, she did.
She has a car, fucking. That's what I was about to say.
She did have a car.
Oh, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, the car has just been there.
I don't know.
It's just running, wasting gas. Right. But I guess Annie is taking a nap in it. A nap forever. But
she
Alice
sleeps
is sleeping in the canoe. Morning
and then
comes,
the cops
roll in. So you're like, oh my god, thank the Lord, it's over.
Yeah.
Gags my goop so hard.
Can I tell you?
Hey, I have a literal note that says those exact words. I said, the end gooped me.
I didn't get scared the whole movie. The way that my soul saw Jesus Christ.
Oh my god.
Hey, the way that I spoke and I licked the pearly gates and then I came back to my human vessel. That was crazy. Hey, Jason, the little boy, the decaying body of the little boy jumps out of the river as Alice is waving to the cops on shore, grabs her by the neck, takes her down.
Sucks her right in. Which, how did he survive that long underwater?
That's the thing. He's
like David Blaine.
He's supposed to be the supernatural
but
thing.
Also, I feel like if he's supposed to be, this part confused me because if he's supposed to be the super whatever, he still would have aged. Like it was still it was what, 30 years after? But
he's not supernatural human. He's a supernatural spirit now, where I understand what you're saying in relation to the next movies, like the image. Okay, spoiler alert, this is Jason, he's still here, this is how we get him for the later movies. How he gets to be a grown-up, I have no idea. I don't know if we gotta watch.
They don't really touch on it. It's just kind of, you just gotta suspend your disbelief.
The belief. I don't know, I liked it though because that was the last motherfucking thing. I thought, oh, in my head I'm already making up stories. I'm like, oh, I guess maybe the Jason that I know is somebody that heard the story of Jason, identified with it, and then is like avenging his death, or like something like this. You know what I mean? Nope. It's
I was writing notes in my phone while I was watching it. I was writing notes on my phone when I was watching it, and then I saw like the canoe scene, and I was thinking, I was like, I really like the shots in this movie. Like the cinematography was really cool. Like how they set up certain shots were really cool. And then she was like touching the water. I was like, this is so pretty, and I was just like entranced in the moment. And then I said, hey.
It was
same
so
thing. Like I didn't like jump scare at anything, and then that one really did.
It was so fucking good. I'm so serious, literally out of my fucking chest with it. It was so good, so
but
peaceful.
Then that happens, and then all of a sudden, Alice wakes up screaming in a hospital. So my brain was like, "Did that really?"
It was a dream. And my brain was, it was a dream.
Yeah,
that's the only logical thing, because everything else has been realistic. You know what I mean? Like it reminded me of the boy 1 and 2. Remember how everything was realistic? Like we thought it was paranormal, it wasn't. It was a killer the whole time. Yeah. But then they made the boy too supernatural at the end.
Yeah.
Where I was like, why? It was more fun when it was whatever.
Yeah. So then, but then the cop comes in and is like, yeah, everyone died, but your parents are on their way. And then she was like, and what about the boy? What about Jason? And the cop was like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
We didn't find
he didn't see it.
Right.
So if I'm to assume that, yes, the thing is, then they're like, oh, then she's like, oh my god, then he's real, he's still there, he still lives at the lake. If you're implying that this was all real, then that motherfucking cop saw him fucking take
He
you the
did.
fuck down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
You
I think
waved
that's
at
the
him.
whole like thing where it's like I think they were trying to leave it ambiguous because it's the way that he words it. He says, two of my cops pulled you out of the water. He didn't say she was on a boat. And then he said, I thought you were dead too. So she could have just been floating around after Jason did that thing. So it's kind
So
of
why
like the
wouldn't
whole thing
Jason
is
take her
blurry.
out?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know, Jason. We don't know what this is at this point, but I think that was the whole thing. The whole thing is kind of blurry, like the blurred lines of reality and what's real and what wasn't. So it's like you could say that that was just a dream and that actually didn't happen and they just pulled her out of the water in the canoe or whatever, or and they thought she was dead because she was asleep, or that did happen. She was floating around in the water and they thought she was dead and they pulled her out. Like it's kind of like it could be either or, but they don't really solidify it
I see.
by the way they word it.
I want to watch Friday the 13th too. Friday the 14th.
Right.
No.
Which can I tell you? No.
God.
Which this is the part of the by the way, movie's over. This is the part of the lore. Movie ends here, credits roll. This is the part that I was gonna say to Harry. So I watched like a lore video because I was just interested in like when does this whole Jason shit start?
Mhm.
And essentially the Jason that we know from like imagery and stuff comes starting on the third one.
Wow.
So
they make you
the
work
second
for
movie,
it.
they make you work
What's
for
the
it.
second one?
So this like this didn't boom. If like that whole Jason persona didn't really boom until the third one because that's when he actually gets the look that we see him in. The second movie does have Jason, but he looks different. He doesn't have his full costume, his full drag. He gets his hockey mask drag. He gets his hockey mask drag in the third movie because there's a character who is a prankster and he plays a prank on people by putting on this hockey mask and scaring them.
Everyone's like, oh my God.
And then he takes the mask from
like, stop pranking us. And then it's actually Jason.
Exactamente. And so he takes that and makes it a part of his whole thing. But yeah, so if y'all want to see like the imagery of Jason, it's like after the third one.
Oh, he's just wearing a burlap sack.
Oh,
he just wears a burlap sack over his head. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah.
With like holes in it.
His face
was basically, I mean, there's like 7 of these films, and then there's also like Freddy versus Jason at some point. So like, you know, there's a whole franchise. So yeah, it was interesting to see what really captivated people when it first came out. They didn't know any of this that was going to happen, how big it is now. To like see that they were
let me tell you, without the
for 2
burlap
movies.
sack,
yeah, nope. Yeah, he don't
looks
look too
like
good.
the Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
And not
Bless
the movie where they sing. I'm talking about the Universal monster Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's interesting to see like how this alone, you know, caught people's attention, and then Jason grew to be such a big iconic like horror icon.
Yeah.
As we know him now, but that didn't start until the 3rd movie of the whole franchise.
That's wild.
Do they get better?
Oh,
I hope so. I mean,
well, they leave
better.
the 80s. They leave the 80s, so maybe that
Yeah.
vibe that you don't like will get better if you see it.
I hope so. I don't know. I'm just not
like more
not
recent.
into it.
That's okay. It's just not your vibe.
It's not my thing.
Well, guys, that was Friday the 13th.
Yay.
So excited, so fun. We did it finally. Yeah, so now we have to decide. Hopefully I can share my screen, or Chelsea, you have to let me share my screen. But we can finally decide what the rating for this movie is going to be.
Harry, you go first since you're speaking.
Yeah, you first.
I give it. Okay, I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. It like the last scene like really got me good. I wasn't expecting it, but it's not like I wouldn't watch it again. Really, not even for the Halloween vibes. I think I'd watch like I've watched the first Halloween before, which we'll also review. But that I like more and would watch again for Halloween. This I really wouldn't. Also, I had a question before I continue with that. So is the anniversary every time it's Friday the 13th or every time it's the 13th of June, which is when he
It
died?
says birthday.
Friday
Or
the
when is his
13th.
birthday? His birthday is June 13th.
I think
Yeah.
it's Friday the 13th specifically because
That's
So
what
like
I'm
well,
that's got to be every 5 years then. Or so.
yeah, because the second movie happens 5 years later.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Well, anyway, I rate this movie. I would say a 6.5 out of 10.
wow, I'm shocked.
I don't know what the of 10 what's yet. We can figure that out.
We'll
but
figure that out. We can figure that out.
I give it a 4.
Kelsey, let me share my screen.
Request it.
It doesn't let me request it. You just have to
Oh.
allow people to share.
She said, request it.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
I did it.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got a 6.5, we got a 4. I was teetering on also a 6.5. That was my initial when it got to the Alice in the boat scene, I was like, okay, I'll give it like a 6.5. Like I enjoyed it, but I wasn't like fully convinced yet. And then that last jump scare and also like sitting with it and watching it a second time made me like give it a higher rating of like a 7 because I did enjoy it for what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to at some points be like, okay, this was literally 1980. So maybe I shouldn't be so harsh on like some of the things that I didn't enjoy as much. Like I said, with the whole like scenes that were like a little too long, that was just like, why are you showing me this? Like all those stuff, that's what kind of brought it down for me. So considering all of those things, I would give it a 7 out of 10.
Sabrina?
Really quickly, I just looked up each Friday the 13th movie by number. I went 2, 3, 4, 5. In movie 7, he becomes a beefcake. And I don't know if anybody was wondering. In movie 7,
I saw that image.
Why is he a beefcake? He looks weird. He looks like the monster from the Goonies in all the other ones. But in this one, why is he
did some exercise that in those 5 years.
why is he built like that? But honest, I loved it. I thought it was so fun. I'm
interested to hear what you think of Halloween versus this.
I haven't seen Halloween just yet, so I gotta do that one. I really, really like this one. I like the campy vibe, and not campy like camp like the woods. I like
literally
the
camp.
woods.
Yeah,
literally camping. I loved that. I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was a slasher without being nasty. I wasn't ever like honestly, it's a 10 for me. I'm so sorry. I
really?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Like
and especially
better than Host, better than Rosemary's Baby, better than Halloween Town, better than The Conjuring.
Oh, the Halloween Town is a 10 for me, or 12. But
you think
I like it. I think it's on par with Halloween Town in my book. But I loved it.
The Conjuring?
The Conjuring, honestly, is out of the scale. That's just the standard horror movie for me.
No, also, but like it's literally The Conjuring from this century. You know what I'm saying? Versus
like
80s movie.
Okay, so do you want me to say 9.8, 9.5? No, it's a 10.
So let's let her. Yeah, if you think it's a 10, it's a 10.
In my book, ladies, it was a 10. I love it.
Okay,
so I gave it a 4.
When we
Sabrina
average it
gave it
out,
a 10. What did
the
Harry
average
give
is
it?
this.
Crazy.
6.8.
6.875. So a 6.9
is the average.
Yeah.
6.9. I mean, bitch, just give it a 7.
It's a 7.
At that point, are we gonna really fight?
I would rather do a 6.9 than a 7.
Yeah.
We also put a 6.2.5.
Oh, hey.
On
and
Malignant.
7.8.
Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what? Hey, guess what? It's literally math. So what do you want to fight with?
Okay, 6.87. That's what I'm putting it at.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
6.8 out of 10 what?
So out of 10 long ass 3-point turns.
No, I was gonna say, what was it that Chelsea kept saying? The sturdy ass arrows.
The sharp ass arrow and
strong.
And that's what we call in the business. Business arrows.
Strong business arrows.
Oh my god.
I guess I'm not capitalizing it. Strong business arrows. Friday the 13th, 6.87 out of 10 strong business arrows.
There we go. And if you don't agree with our rating,
Fuck off!
I don't care. I don't care.
No, if you don't agree with the rating, I feel you. It's okay. We can go and watch.
I mean,
the
as you
movie
can see, I think this
tomorrow.
is probably one of the most polarizing ones we've had.
Yeah.
Because it's all over
Yeah.
the charts.
Yeah.
So
I
Yeah.
never in my
Yeah.
wildest dreams thought I would like a slasher. I'm very content.
Yeah, you experienced
that for you.
something new. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Hopefully everyone is just as excited as we are about the October special. I know we talked about doing like some less scary, more like Halloween-y type things. We might not do that for the rest, for the other two. But just I hope you guys enjoy just as much and live your spooky lives. And Christian, take it away.
We're leaning full into the spooky this time. Also, happy Friday the 13th this Friday,
Happy
you
Friday
guys.
the 13th.
Yeah.
Watch out for Mrs. Voorhees.
Yeah.
Also,
You see any bitches in a Jeep, fuck them up.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And I don't quote me. Don't quote me.
and don't quote her out of context.
Yeah.
So anyway, I rewrote our outro script because, girl, I haven't read a script since maybe episode 4. So,
Oh wow.
So thank you guys so much for listening to The Witching Hour. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, you can find us at The Scary Queens. That's THE, Scary Queens, just in case you didn't know how to spell that. And you guys can find us on most podcast streaming platforms like Spotify, Overcast, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Sabrina, take it away.
Thank you so much for spending your whatever time this is of the day with us. Stay afraid, y'all. Bye.
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 Bye.